So you say to yourself, what's the end game? A lot of critics want to say the Bush administration, the Cheney administration, the Rove administration who resigned today is incompetent. I don't buy that. All you have to do is YouTube a 1994 interview with Dick Cheney. Just go 1994 Dick Cheney in the search. And he'll tell you exactly why we shouldn't invade Iraq and overthrow Saddam Hussein in 1994. It's for the exact opposite reasons that they chose to do in 2003. So they understood what they were getting into. Don't buy this line that they had no idea that there was this Shiite-Sunni possible explosion that could happen and the problem with the Kurds up in the north with Turkey. They knew. The reason we're in there is more simple, I think, than a lot of people would want to make it. It's power. It's a power grab. You know, Iraq is the third largest oil producing nation in the world. It's that simple. Plus, it allows a certain class of people to have very extreme views, very extreme moral views, ethical views, to stay in power by imposing fear. And thirdly, what else goes with power but greed? There are a lot of companies, just look them up on the stock market, like Blackstone, that weren't making a dime until this war. There's over 100,000 private contractors over there. So we talk about 160,000 troops. There's another 100,000 private mercenaries over there. See Lords of War. It's a good movie with Nicolas Cage. See all about the black market industry for weapons and military business. We've all heard it. You've probably heard it a million times on YouTube or seen that famous Dwight D. Eisenhower speech before he left office about to beware of the military. They call it industrial complex. Another kind of dehumanizing word. Maybe just think of a bunch of big businesses who want to sell a lot of guns and ammunition, and they want to create a market for this, and they need human lives to do that. It's the largest industry in our country. We are a capitalist country. The end game is profit, is dollars and cents. And I say, let's use our own sense. Read these articles and don't just parrot. Let's think for ourselves. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we supplying our enemy, these Sunni insurgent groups, now with arms, when before we kicked them out of the government because they were all part of the Ba'ath Party? So, in other words, we didn't just dissolve the Ba'ath Party, we made a lot of people unemployed. They didn't have money to feed their families. So when you think of policy, what I like to do is think of what's the real effect. What's the real life terminology behind what these guys are saying? Because they tend to treat human lives, like I said, as markings in a balance sheet. As American citizens, it's like, well, what can we do? What can we do? Or, you know, if you have your eyes closed, we think we're doing the right thing, right? Well, that's going to be the topic, I think, of my next entry. But for now, I would say, please, as Descartes did, René Descartes, one of the fathers of Western philosophy, he said it right, the famous saying, I think, therefore I am. That I know. Ask yourself what you really know and what you just read. And then try and put the pieces together. I'm not saying that every one of us is going to be able to get first-hand knowledge of everything we research. Not every one of us is going to be in the middle of what we're trying to understand. But human language is a really precise thing. And you can tell a lot from what people say, how they say it, when they say it, and why they say it. And if you put enough of these things next to each other, you get a pretty good idea of why people are saying and doing what they're doing. And what I'm saying right now is that we have an oligarchy in power. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't over-dramatization. This is about a ruling class that has a lot of money and a lot of power, and they'll do whatever they want, whatever they have to stay in power. And the American people are really not high on their list. Another interesting thing to watch on YouTube is watch Gore Vidal's interviews. YouTube him. It's a recent thing. Very educated man, great historian, really. Whatever you think of his ideas and all, really very accurate with his history. And he said something interesting that I thought struck me. He said, you know, I've spent my whole life around the ruling class. And let me tell you, they have amazing contempt for the average American public. Contempt.